one of the things I heard, of course, when you're going to marry in the eastern part of Nigeria, especially as a guy who is just coming up in life, In fact, they tell you that place is not a place for upcoming guys, or upcoming guys that are just coming up. It's not a place for you to go to. And I've heard of people telling me that, oh, you know what? I have nothing against you, but where you are going to, God will go with you.
I want to welcome you especially to today's episode of Clustered Knots. And we've been looking at one-sided story or a single story and just capping it up and sharing a good story today. So I have Abiola here today and Chigozie to share some stories with me in line with that. Are you welcome, Biola?
Thank you so much for having me.
And Chigozie, it's nice having you.
This is my first time here.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
It's going to be a great time, I believe, and listening to the story. So, I think we've been looking at a single story, or as the case may be, maybe one-sided story of you hearing a story about a person and you run with it, getting to know the person and see that this is not the best of the stories that you could hear. And it can even be a city, you know Africa to be these rugged areas. But if you see places in Lekki, I think we were seeing a movie not quite long, and you could see that there are nice places in Lagos too, in Nigeria. And it's all over the places. So it's all about the story you hear and you run with it. And quickly, I will say, with my parents, they are in a way not so strong with tribal marriage and anything, but they do it in a subtle way, like marry from our tribes. And there are just these subtle things of no, don't consider this. And these two beautiful people are married, and funny enough, they are from two extreme areas. Not from the same tribe. And I could only imagine when you want to make a usual joke in Yoruba or in Igbo, and how do you pass that across? So before we start, was there any point in time that you heard this, or before we even go to that, can you just share maybe a brief moment, like anything, a brief background of yourself, so that people will understand where we are coming from?
Okay, just like you said, my name is Abiola, and I'm married to a beautiful woman. I am from the southwestern part of Nigeria, and my wife is from the southeastern part of Nigeria. And also, we don't speak the same language. So we speak English and also in our prayer languages. but anyway, we are married, and it's been a very wonderful journey. And of course, we heard so many things before we made up our mind to say, okay, we're going into this marriage, and I feel this is what we want to share with you this time, and we hope it's going to help you a lot and you will benefit from it. I know my wife has a lot to say about that.
Is there anything you want to say before we go deep?
Yeah, so it's always a very sensitive topic for people to delve into, but I'm sure that by the time we discuss it, we can throw more light to it, and there is always that human aspect that we should look at. There can always be the general aspect of life, but when you look at people as humans that they are, we'll always be able to relate with them. Nevertheless,
there are a lot of things we miss out on because of this thing that we've heard about, maybe this tribe or this person, and you're just careful, don't let me do anything with them. So I'll start with Chigozie. Was there anything you heard about the tribe that we are from, like southwestern part, and you're like, no, Mumba?
Did you say, was there anything, or how many things did I hear? That should be the question. Because definitely I heard so many things. I can't even say so many others, because sometimes it can even be embarrassing. It's one of them being that Yoruba men are promiscuous.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, of course. I heard such things from that. I even got examples from people who have been married, and
you will see those examples. Like any picture they want you to see, you will see. If it's
life, yeah.
If it's now Igbo now, and we want to talk about promiscuity, I will definitely see an example of that same person. So,
in fact, I got one example that this man, he has been married, and yet he still keeps girlfriends, and he has all manner of side chicks, and that's the way of many Yoruba men. I'm like, okay, I didn't get that from one person, I got that from several other persons. Like, even my friend told me, but this thing I'm going to, you know that Yoruba men, they are promiscuous, so you know that.
Wow.
So yeah, so many of them. How Yoruba people, they are not always very truthful. That they lie a lot. They like to cover up things a lot. I said, if I should say many things I've heard, I'm sure this will not be able to exhaust the time. So yeah, sure, definitely I heard so many things.
Wow. I believe the narratives is changing. You know?
Exactly. No, they see a new light of that.
So I am married now, and of course, before I got married, I also heard a lot, like a lot. Not just did I hear anything. You should be asking me how many did I hear, just like my wife said. But one of the things I heard, of course, when you're going to marry in the eastern part of Nigeria, especially as a guy who is just coming up in life, you know. In fact, they tell you that place is not a place for upcoming guys, you know, or upcoming guys that are just coming up. It's not a place for you to go to. And I've heard of people telling me that, oh, you know what, I have nothing against you, but where you are going to, God will go with you. You know, this ideology that as you are going, just know that you're on your own, and a whole lot of stuff. And also, especially when it comes to marriage, all the things you have to do, then just like my wife said, I've heard and seen different examples of, am I sure I really want to do this? But yet, I think it should go beyond what hearsay says, right? And I feel if someone is worth it, I think there's nothing wrong in taking that risk.
Well, were you not afraid at any point in time of taking such risk? Because, you know, there are situations whereby you hear a lot of stories and it gets to you like, am I even sure I want to?
Okay, so in my own case, we got to know each other while we're during our service year. So I was in the family house, NCCF family house. So I was the prayer secretary and she was the assistant general secretary. So, you know, then all I know was, let's play, let's pray, let's do different things in the family house. And so the moment I started, like, my attention is being drawn to her, there's first of all a kind of resistance. Why? Because of where she's coming from. I must confess that I had some resistance. That am I sure I'm thinking very well, you know, or I better wake up from whatever thing that is happening to me. But yet I think there's a conviction in it. So I was able to go beyond the initial resistance that almost everybody feel when they want to take this kind of step. And also when I got to know her very well, of course there are a lot of, you know, scary things, you know, and because we have to open up about a whole lot of stuff, even down to culture, down to your background, down to everything. So it takes you decide, knowing what you are doing at that point, not just I just want to run into it. And so we were able to take that calculated risk, and God has really helped us.
But you know, there is this image that this single story creates most times, because, you know, you're running with this. Even there are other parts of this person that you can't see, and you just want to close your eyes to it. When it was coming around, was there anything that came to mind at first? This is Yoruba boy.
Yeah, because I've heard all those hearsay stories, right? So from the onset, I felt that, oh my God, why would it be a rep? Because I wasn't even thinking of marriage at that time. So when we started, you know, our friendship and everything, why would it be a rep person that I would get myself into, right? Because of the things I've heard, and I've not just heard, kind of had the experience too with some people who haven't really dealt with us very well. So I thought, how would I feel about it? How would my parents feel about it? I considered my family as well, because I know my mom, for example, who served in the civil service, encountered so many people from different tribes, especially the Yoruba tribe, and she really had not very pleasant experiences with them, right? So how would she feel about it? So I had that resistance, of course, and I said, oh my God, how would this go? But eventually I opened myself up to it, and
now from that point, one thing I'm just thinking is, in situations we always see examples of anything we want to create. And now at least you guys have been together for a while now, and you can see a difference in the narrative. Like, how can we change some of these narratives generally, even in this society? Because I'm so much worried. You hear things and then you always want to run with it. Is there a way to?
Well, yeah, I can take that first. First, I have two things to say. First, always have the positive examples, not always the negative examples. So, at the time, I had to look at. I even had to research, look at other people who are doing well in marriage and they are from different tribes. And when I even saw people like Pastor Paul Adefarasin and his wife Ifeanyi, and I said these guys are even in ministry. And I searched for other people and saw people who are really doing well in marriage and from other. And I saw that people like outside ministry, right? They are doing well. So like, why would my own be different? Why should I always focus on the negative one? So first, I would say look for the positive examples and encourage yourself with that. Secondly, I try to look at the human aspect of life, right? That's what people don't always remember. Look at people as humans, not as whatever you think that they are, whether tribe or from France or from Ogun or Germany. Humans are humans despite wherever they come from. So that was what set I set myself in motion with, right? That this person is a human being. So he has aspects of human feelings and emotions and all that he would run with. Of course, being a child of God to back that up. So let's look at people as humans first before tribe. So that's what I ran with.
Just like she said, I also considered my family too before. I was just like, how will my mom take it? How will my family as a whole, how would they see that? Because it has never happened in my family before. So it's more like I'm breaking a rank, right? So, and this is one of the things that happens even in our world today, especially when you see someone breaking a rank from a family. So you expect a kind of opposition. Of course, we saw some resistance, no doubt about it. There are resistance. But and it's because we are breaking a rank and we should expect that too. But yet, what I found out is that I think this predates just our present time. These are things that have, there are some unwritten or silent, will I say, war fightings among tribes in Nigeria. For example, if they hear a particular tribe, for example, I'm from Ekiti State in Nigeria, there are some tribe that they don't want their children to marry from, and do you know the reason why? Because of one story or history that happens maybe 100 years ago and 70 years ago. So everything it became on, and people begin to live their life based on that. So I think if we can look beyond all those the cultural stereotypes that we have made, that we have always known, and just like what she said, look at person individually. And this is a big problem, especially in Nigeria, because so many people have lost opportunities, so many people have lost job, all in the name of the tribe where they came from. So many people have lost even good women or a good woman,
even beyond Nigeria,
or a good man.
Yeah, so you don't want to consider some, maybe the white girls.
So
you are so careful.
Yeah, and also I was speaking with a guy just recently. He said he doesn't want to have anything to do with anything white, because the guy is outside. It's in the western world. So he said he doesn't want to do. Do you know why? He said those guys, no, they are this, they are that, they are this, they are that. And
you've met with people.
And the funny thing, I've met some of them around here, and I know that, man, these people are really, really good. Like, I have many of them as my friends, even people that are very close to us, Some even help us with our little babies, and they have been so supportive and helpful. So you can see, I wouldn't have had that mentality if I had not been here and relate with them personally. So I think we should remove, number one thing is we should remove the judgment notion that we always have. Like, we always pass judgment on people even without knowing them, and this is really a big problem to people. If you can not judge people if you have not known them personally, it's not good to judge anybody, but at least get to know people personally before you make conclusion on what you want to do with them, right? Then the second thing will be that we should relate with people based on character. Now, if someone is of good character, I don't think his or her tribe should be a barrier to that person. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So let's relate with one another with character. And you know, when someone of good character naturally attract people with good character, same way with people of someone with the other character too. So if we relate with people based on their character, then you can choose the circle of friends that you want. You can choose the person you want to be in relationship with. You can choose the person you want to marry. You can decide the person you want to employ, not just on the basis of their tribe or whatever dealing you want to have with people. So look at them based on their character, and also do not make conclusion until you know them personally. Because if not, you will always judge wrongly.
Just like Chigozie also said in relation to that, I think she mentioned that you treat people as humans first, even beyond their tribes, because most times these experiences are real. Even the guy is saying that he doesn't want to have anything to do with these people, might have had one experience with them. But how do we sometimes do? I think you've mentioned it. I don't know if that solves it, or like treat people as specific humans instead of maybe from this tribe. Because I wanted to ask, like, how do you separate those experiences from the next person? Because most of our actions still relate with our past experiences, and there is this red flags that comes to mind when you're already saying this. It's just natural. I think your mother-in-law's story of you will be different from those that she has always had. And at first she don't want to have that like with you because of the past experiences, but getting to know you now, it's now changed. Can we say that we should even give people the benefit of doubt in situations? But when we still give them the benefit of doubt, what's the assurance that they will?
So this is the thing. You know, let's look, for example, in Africa or in Nigeria, when someone is getting married, they believe that the person is going finally, or the person is leaving their tribe to go to whatever tribe he or she is getting married to. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So there is this like the notion that I'll be losing my son or I'll be losing my daughter, you know. So that can create a kind of fear in the heart of some of our parents or whoever it is that we're dealing with. So the first thing I would say with respect to your question would be that I think we should, and I think it's the same thing with relationships. Some people have not fully healed of maybe past relationship or hurts, and they're moving to another one. You know, before you know it, they start acting out based on the previous experience they have. So it's the same thing with this. So if you've had some bad experience with someone, or maybe of other tribe or other race or other religion, whatever it is, I think it's very important to deal with it personally first, because if you don't deal with it personally, you will carry it on to the next person, and that will be so unfair on the next person. You know, sometimes some people react to you, you don't even know what you did, what you do to them, like, but you just react just based on just seeing you, or just your language or your tribe or whatever it is, and it's really not, I mean, it's really unfair on people. So if you can deal with that personally and heal of whatever hurt that anybody might have done to us, then we should always be optimistic, because I am a believer that there are so many good people in this world. Irrespective for the bad experiences that you have had, there are so many good people, and you know we'll just change ourselves if we fail to look ahead, if we are holding on to the past, because there are some good people that want to come your way that will help you, or that will give you a new light to some things, or that will help maybe your business, whatever it is, based on their experience or what they know. But their language, their tribe, their race could be a barrier because of their past experience that you've had. So I just think it's good to heal of the past hurt or whatever it is, then also relate with people when you are in a healthy way.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, just something related to that, and that's what I always tell people. For every relationship that doesn't work out, there's always one that will, or there's always someone who is ready to love you and who you can also love. So having that mindset, always having a mind filter to know that, hey, I've gone through this, there's always the opportunity to have a very good one at the end. That would help people to to not be too constrained or restrained from having relationship with people of from different tribes.
And I also think that you can choose what you want to. You can choose, or just like you can filter out what you expect to see in your life, or what you expect to see in your relationship. You know, the media today, social media, whatever means that is filled with a whole lot of junk, and it's really so disheartening what you see. And so many people form their opinion, they form beliefs based on what they see. But I feel if you can choose, this is what I want to see in my life, and begin to look at things in line with that, before you know it, you start seeing that result in your life too.
And just coming to the social media of everything, and I think we can just wrap up with that. Like, there is most times a particular story that we run with most times, and this is an example. I was speaking to a cousin of mine that is in the northern part of Nigeria, and he was telling me that he travels a lot around the northern part again, and I was like, are you not afraid? There are a lot of things going on. And he told me it's not as bad as I've been hearing. That, no doubt those things are happening. But the stories they make you hear will never be the good ones. And of course, I understand the part of projecting that part too, so that they can work on the part. But all I'm saying is, it might not even be the insecurity in quotes now. It can be any other stories that once social media is trying to portray something to you, and you can see that in different elections too. They're trying to pass this message across, despite the fact that it might not be the best of stories. They know how to push it. Do you think is there any way we can filter those things out? Because most times we are always on social media, if not always, at least we use social media to some point, and we get to see these things and we run with them until you now see another version of the story that you'll be like, oh, I've been wrong these days. So how can we improve on that as ourselves, filter that, and is there any way we can also be a part of it? Just to
Yeah, for me, I would say first that have that mindset that almost everything you're seeing on social media may not be 100% correct. That's the way I view it from the beginning. So I already know that social media could always be even 50% correct of what you're seeing, no matter how it's presented and whosoever presents it that way. So just having your mindset that, hey, whatever I'm seeing may not always be the real thing. So with that, you won't be shocked when you hear that, oh, this is not what it is. So secondly, wrong with facts. It's all, I don't want to say Nigerians, people generally don't even want to bother to search this out. I remember somebody posting something, sending something to me on my WhatsApp some time ago, and then it wasn't my mom, and it was about a church. It was about the church, Redeemed Christian Church. And she was like, see what's going on. I said, Mommy, this is not even true. This is not what happens in the Redeemed Christian Church. And she was like, yeah, but that, you know, all these forwarded messages, and you will see, now on WhatsApp you will see forwarded many times. you don't even know who started the forwarding, and then how many times it's been distorted. Even if it was the correct message, you don't even know how many times it's been distorted and it's been forwarded many times. I said, this is a false message, and he was like, oh, I didn't know. So that's how people believe things they see online, because they don't have facts. So always run with facts, and if you don't have it, check it. Go on Google and they always say Google is your friend. So go on Google to check it out, or find out from the people who are there. If it's a church situation, because people always like running fast with church stories where a pastor did this, they run with it and they go with it. So check out if this is actually true, and it will help. It will save you a lot, and it will save our society from bad news and wrong news. It's done a lot of harm than good, truly. Like, for example, sorry to go on. The case of the happenings in the north right now. I mean, it's already a mental damage to us hearing that these things are happening, and then you hear someone who is there presently saying that, I mean, it's not as bad as it seems. So it's hurting people to know that these things are happening, and yet it's really not like that. So it does a lot of harm than good if we have wrong messages always on social media.
Now it reminds me of a brother of mine who said when he was posted to the north, he was crying. He was literally crying that, oh my God, is this how I'm going to die? Like he said he was literally crying. But imagine a whole, let's say, family man like that, for that matter. And do you know why? Because of everything that he has heard about the north. And you know the funny thing, I also served in the north. So my wife also served in the north. So we stayed there for over a year. And the same thing. It's not as bad as what we see on social media. So, and this is why it's so important for us to always calm down first. When a story is running, all this comment we make, we are also making the thing worse. If we have not known the truth and we are just commenting and commenting, we are making the story worse. So why not just let us just calm down first, rather than contributing to it. Some videos you see on social media, they don't know even if it is doctored. Like if it's something that people start retweeting it or start sharing it on social media and start doing a whole lot of stuff, and before you know it, it has gone viral. So this is one thing we should know. Number one, we should always calm down, and one of the way to know the truth is the truth will always be the truth, right? But if something is false, just give it a little time. The whole thing will come out. Everything will start becoming so glaring to everybody that this is it. And that's why this is one of the reasons why I don't comment on most of my issues. In fact, there are some even when I post something myself, it's not a must I answer everybody, because I just want to have sanity, and it's even for our own sanity too. Let us just calm down before we react, before we do anything. Like I said sometimes, like social media is like a chemical reaction. Like everybody is just reacting either way. So let's calm down for that. Then the second thing will be that the other way we can change the narrative is that we should how will I put it? We should in our dialogue on the internet, let us try to fit out the bias that we already have in our mind first. A lot of people have so many hidden agenda in themselves, and this is a very big problem with our media, with our journalists, with our media houses, with our radio houses. All of those things, they have agenda already, so they package everything to meet whatever it is they want you to hear. For example, there are some TV stations you will know them for doing the biddings of a particular party. You know a radio or a TV station for doing the bid, or a newspaper for doing the bidding of a particular party. So all of this thing is damaging what we hear and what we are not hearing. Some things that are true, they won't tell you. Why? Because they don't want you to know. So you can see how everything has been selective now. So I just think whatever we hear on social media, we shouldn't take it as a first-hand information. Let us calm down with it and get it from the right source.
And even in relation to that, and of course with that, we just have the final thoughts. And of course we're going to start with Chigozie. Even with that, like, some stations, just as we've said, this is the kind of message they want you to hear. And beyond stations, there are people too. They know the good part, but they won't want to share that good part so that you won't fall in love with that part of the person. So they will always feed you with the bad part, that this person, he can do this, he can do that, and you will be like, is there nothing good about this person? But I feel, I'm not saying you should not talk about the bad parts if there is a need to talk about it, but also mention those times that he is also good. And of course, because most people are also work in progress, like, you're still getting better in doing things. There are some things you might not even know yourself that people cause your attention to it. But so beyond that, what's your final thoughts around single story, and especially what people just want you to know, like hearing from someone and the person is just telling you things, and I don't know, your final thoughts around.
So I would just say, like when you mentioned people projecting only the negative news. So what we know first, that negative news flies more than positive news. So if you notice blogs that do well on social media, they are always posting about divorce, maybe of some celebrities or something, or somebody. Yes, controversial news. So you see, before you know it, 6,000 comments, 10,000 likes. So they know how to draw the public by spreading those negative news. So that's one thing that we know, that negative news flies more. So
sorry, because why is it that is what humans too want to hear?
And I think it's because we have been conditioned to think that way. This thing doesn't just happen now. This is not the way it was 50 years ago, 100 years ago. But now, because of the advent of technology, advent of all of these things that can make things go viral. Imagine in a population, in a country of let's say 100 million people, and news went viral, and like 70 million people were reasoning in line with that sentiment, what do you expect will happen? You will know that whatever it is they are thinking will be in line because their sentiment is already drawn. The same thing with marketing. Marketing is all about drawing your sentiment to something. So it's the same thing. Social media marketing, all is marketing. Blogging, everything is just about marketing. Just making you to see something. This way I want your sentiment to look like. And once you make people feel that way, over time it becomes natural. And that's why some people have been loyal to a particular, let's say for example, a particular party, or not because of anything, just because of the sentiment they have made to, just because of all the things they have been hearing over time, you know. And that's the same in the same way with maybe in relationship too. Some people they have cut off relationship just because of sentiment that have been built in them over time. And you know what, the relationship that they started, that they knew that, oh, this thing is going somewhere, over time they just found out that it's not going anywhere. It doesn't just happen just in a day. It's a process. It's a process that happens over time. And I also want to say that if I listen to everything I heard about my wife, maybe we wouldn't have been together. And I feel if she accepts everything that she has heard about me or about my tribe, we wouldn't have been here together. And to God be glory, we have a very wonderful and beautiful daughter today. And I feel it's a choice. You have a choice to hold on you have a choice on the type of information that you really want to hold there onto. So you have a choice, and don't let anyone take that choice for you. Don't let media even take that choice away from you. It's not a must that you comment on everything. If you are not clear over something, you can just let it be until over time, when you are settled enough to know that, oh, this is the truth, rather than just having to react every time you hear something.
And then you regret reacting that way sometimes.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for sharing that. It's always.
Thank you.
How do you have it?
Thank you so much. Especially if you have questions to ask us, we're willing to take that.
No, I think we've spent more than enough time just to feel that things. Of course, as you've said, get the facts. Be sure that this is the truth before running with it. And when someone is even telling you things about people, also find out, why is it just negative aspect of this
Isn't
person?
there anything good about him?
Exactly. So check sometimes too before just running with that. Of course, you might see the person might have those things they are talking about, but just find out the balance to those things and be sure that that's what it is. Thank you for doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a great pleasure. So see you guys next week. Thank you for joining. I want to appreciate everyone that has listened this far. So I will see you next week, where we just share the thoughts around single story generally. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.